Hello and welcome to another episode of Motors for the Masses, and this week we are taking a look at the brand new 2018 Mini Cooper 5-door and see how it compares to the Clubman. Minis have come a very long way since the 1960s and 70s. Of course, with a classic Mini, they were actually Mini. But today, not so much. The word Mini no longer represented small car, more of a brand that BMW was keeping alive. But something else happened too. The Mini became an adult and was released with a 5-door option. We had almost seen a 5-door before with the Clubman, harking back to the minivans of old with the 2 rear doors and the Mazda RX-8 style suicide door on the right side, albeit not a good design for the UK as we drive on the left, and the idea of getting children out easier didn't really work as it meant you did that into the road and not onto the curb. But anyway, that's gone and the Clubman became a 6-door. Inside the front, Minis are quite similar these days. The speedo is now back behind the steering wheel, where it should be really, with the rev counter tacked nicely onto the side. That's a lovely design. This centre ring that used to be the speedo of old and in the previous model now houses the entertainment system and the sat-nav, depending of course what pack you go for. Down the middle you've got the 2 cup holders, your gear lever of course, and your little BMW style I-wheel. Controls the radio, the telephone, the media and the entertainment system, and of course also controls the manual for the car. Lots of information on this thing here. But the difference between this and the Clubman is that the Clubman has an actual centre console with an armrest. The armrest could be an option, but it's not really necessary in this car. The Clubman has a better console design, so you actually need one, I think. What do you think? So in the front here, the 5-door is pretty similar in design to the 3-door, whereas the Clubman is something a bit different. There are plenty of options in terms of seats. This one has the sporty seats, like so, with the bolsters on the sides, and you've got the adjustable bit on the front here. The seats can go up and down, or backwards and forwards, or recline, of course, and it's an extra option, but you can have it for the passenger as well. Now, you can go for an all leather seat or an all cloth seat. This one has part cloth with the diamond stitching and the leather seat and the leather backing. I think that's a great combination, to be honest. The steering wheel is multifunction and very soft, and all the plastics are not actually plastic feeling. They're very soft and spongy on here and on here, and these bits at the side here you can change colour. All the toggle switches are chrome, but they're very nice touch. It's all very professionally done in here. It doesn't feel cheap and it doesn't feel tacky. Even the indicator is very nice. Everything's very soft, nothing clicks, and it's just a lovely noises. Even this has a nice click to it. Now, the most important button in here is obviously the start-stop button, but next to it is the one to turn off the automatic start-stop function, because I hate that. You also have the traction control button, nice and handy, and the mode that takes you from green to mid to sport. And you can guess where this car is mostly. It's sport. Now, this one has the pack with the illuminations in the doors and the ring round here. And there's one of the toggle switches up here that changes colour to dark orange, red, darker red, pinky purple, purple, blue, lighter blue, aqua, green, lighter green, yellow, orange, and we'll keep this one on dark orange to match the car. You also get a decent sized glove box. Obviously it's got the manual in here, not that you need it because it's on here, but it's not a bad size at all, and it closes nicely. And these trims here are also changeable. When you order your car, you can have wood effect or plastic or carbon effect and colour. You can have a colour. So these could have been orange, the same as this car, and these could have been coloured as well. So there's lots of options. Of course, they all come with a price. And another great feature that a lot of cars are coming with these days is this SOS button up here. So if you get in trouble, push that and it dials through to the emergency services to come and get you. Inside this car, it feels great. It's not small inside. I'm 5'11" and a little bit podgy, and I've got loads and loads of headroom, like we said. Sitting here, it's very comfortable behind the steering wheel. I've got a great view out of here. This pillar isn't very intrusive either. Now, you remember we drove the 3-door in the Countryman, and this pillar was quite intrusive, wasn't it? I think it's to do with the colour. Now, in this car they have the option of the black roof, and I think that is what makes the difference. The others we drove had the white pillar and the white roof.
Yes, you get the appearance of it being smaller, even though it's probably not.
Exactly. So being black makes it look smaller than being white. Very strange, that, isn't it? The steering wheel is multifunction. You've got the telephone, the cruise control, the stereo controls, and everything is very user-friendly. When I say that, I mean this down here, the little I wheel, doesn't take much getting used to. Okay, you've got buttons all over the place, and at first you think, right, I've got to hang on a minute, and I need to pull over and adjust my radio. But you soon get used to where the buttons are, and you can feel where they go, and it's not actually that bad. It's very quiet in here, and there's certainly no rattles or bangs anywhere. I'm not getting anything. We're on a bumpy road all over the place, and I'm not getting anything. It turns really, really well, doesn't it? It's superb, like you're on rails.
It is pretty impressive.
The only thing I can hear is your keys rattling around in the glove box.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's nothing. It's superb. Really impressed with this feel.
We did say in the other video that there was a noticeable level of road noise.
There is.
There is when you get up to a reasonable speed.
Yes. And one thing I've noticed is that tyres are not Mini exclusive. Now what I mean by that is the Countryman had Michelin tyres on it, the 3-door we tested had Bridgestone tyres on it, this 5-door has Dunlop tyres on it. So it seems to be they put on whatever deal they can get at the time, maybe. And go. Lovely little 3-cylinder rasp when you pull away. And we're doing 60. You know, that's not bad at all. Pretty impressed with that. And when you pull away, you get that lovely little whistle from the turbo. And it corners like it's on rails. When you change modes, driving modes, you've got the green mode, which never gets pushed, I'm sure, the mid mode, which is just normal driving, and sport mode. And I've noticed that when you put it in sport mode, that's when you get the whoosh, pss, little whistle from the turbo, and you can't hear it when it's in the other modes. So what I like about this is that when you push the button in the middle, it changes colour and you get a different picture depending what mode you're in. So when you put it in green mode, it goes green and it's all very green. In mid mode, it's yellow and it's just normal. In sport mode, it goes red and you get a picture of a go-kart and a rocket ship, which means we're ready to go. And then it goes back to the orange that I've chosen. So here is a little eye wheel in the middle here. Now when you push the sat nav, you get the sat nav come up on the screen like so, and you can zoom into where you want to go. So you just use the wheel and you can zoom into whatever road you're on, or zoom out for a much bigger map. I'm very impressed with that. You can even look at the world. Oh, that's where we are in the world. How interesting. You have your options for your climate control, left or right. Oh, we've got a little white ring now, look. So that changes whatever mode you use as well. And then you've got your media settings. You can have USB, which is down there on your auxiliary, or your radio, which is just normal radio, or DAB digital radio. So let's go around this roundabout. Nothing. No tyre squeal, no noise, no wallow, no wobble, just sticks to the road really, really well.
But this is the point where you can hear some road noise simply because we're doing 70 miles an hour on a concrete road, but it's still not overly intrusive.
Not at all, no. I'm not having to shout to be able to talk to you, or you're not to be able to talk to me.
No, it's pretty good. It feels quieter than the Cooper S.
It does. Now this has a 6-speed manual gearbox, and 6th is more like overdrive than it is a accelerating speed. But in 6th gear, doing 60 miles an hour, put your foot down, because of the turbo, now we're doing 70. Not bad.
Sorry.
As part of the entertainment and parking pack as well, and lighting pack and everything, this has a reverse camera. Ta-da! As you turn the steering wheel, it turns and you can reverse into any space or non-space you like. There we go. Ta-da! And then it changes, disappears when you pull away. Rasp! The indicators have a very nice little click. It's not a clunk or a bong or anything like that. It's quite nice. What do you think of it?
I quite like it. As far as a small car goes, I'm not much of a small car person, but it's quite nice. I mean, it handles absolutely fantastically.
Look at that, look, roundabout. Yeah! How awesome is that? 0 step out. It is phenomenal.
I can just hear a tiny bit of tyre. Tiny bit.
That was a 40 mile an hour roundabout.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. Honestly, you've got complete confidence that this car is going to look after you when you're driving it. That was brilliant.
It is very good.
I love it. Absolutely love it. The only criticism I have is that this rear view mirror is quite small. Now you could argue that you only need to see out of the back window, which is also small, which is true, but it just feels a little bit too small, especially when the mirrors are ginormous. The nippy Mini feel is retained and celebrated with a variety of engines. From the 1.2 litre petrol engine through the 1.5 twin power turbo, they do a petrol and diesel engine, the 2 litre petrol and diesel engine, and the Cooper S 187 brake horsepower turbo engine, or the John Cooper Works 228 brake horsepower engine. However, strangely, the John Cooper Works version is only available for the 3-door, the Clubman, the Countryman, but not the 5-door. However, they do a John Cooper Works Sports Pack, which this one has. So let's look in more detail at this particular car. Well, this one has the 1.5 litre petrol 3-cylinder turbo engine. That means it develops 136 horsepower and 162 pounds-foot of torque. Performance-wise, that means it does a 0 to 62 in around 8 seconds and a top speed of 130 miles an hour. That's not bad for a 3-cylinder car. Nice. It also develops 110 CO2s, which means your first year tax is only £140, and then £140 every year after that. That's not bad at all, is it? However, they only have a 40 litre fuel tank, which means you'll be stopping more often to fill up. But who cares? On paper, MPG is looking around 60, but we all know that's not really accurate. It's more 40 to 45. If you're in sport mode a lot of the time, it's closer to 32. Who cares? The Clubman, however, has a 0 to 62 time of around 9 seconds and a top speed of 127, so it's a little bit slower. With 120 CO2s, which means it's £20 more in first year tax at 160, and 6 to 7 miles per gallon less than the 5-door. With all manufacturers these days, each car comes with a list of options, and those options cost you money. Mini can see you adding up to £11,000 on the price of the car, and this one has the Chili Pack and the John Cooper Works Sports Pack. So what does this John Cooper Works pack entail? Well, you get a front valance, side skirts, rear valance, boot spoiler, John Cooper Works wheels, and John Cooper Works kick plates. So how does the Mini fare as a 5-door? Well, the first thing to say is the build quality is superb. Have a listen to these doors. As Malcolm would say, the clunk of quality. However, we have heard in the last 2 days that there are discussions between Mini and China. The motor company Great Wall are talking about manufacturing Minis of the future. Now, before you start going, whoa, that's the end of Mini, they're going to be rubbish and they're going to fall apart, we all know that the quality of cars coming out of China are vastly superior to what they used to be. They're no longer rebodied VWs or Austin Maestros. They're actually building decent cars now, and they tend to use, okay, old school style Japanese and other engines like MG. But anyway, they are better quality, and I'm sure Mini wouldn't send their car off to China to be built if they weren't happy with how they're going to be built. But let's see. Okay, sorry, got carried away with the thing. nothing to do with how this fares as a 5-door. Let's crack on. Despite this gap being quite small, once you're inside, bearing in mind this is the seat in the position where I would have it, and I'm 5'11", seated here, I've got this much space between my knees and the back of the seat in front. That's pretty impressive for what is supposed to be a Mini. The seatbelt fits nicely and it's not on your neck, and headroom wise, this much space between my head and the ceiling. That's really impressive. There is one thing to say, however. With a child seat in the back, you've got no chance of getting anyone in the middle. If this child seat wasn't here, you could probably have a decent chance of getting 3 people in the back here, albeit a child in the centre. This does come with ISOFIX on both sides, but with the seat in, you're probably going to get, I don't know, a small dog in the middle here. Oh, and just to add, yesterday we did a small test between this car and a BMW 425 Coupe. And with the same person sitting in the front, with the same knee space on the dashboard, and me sitting in the back, the Mini had about 2 inches more knee space than the BMW did. Now that's pretty impressive. In the boot, it's quite sizable, as you can see. Lots of space, and with the 60-40 split, even more space. And Mini has put in another flap, so you can put stuff up here, or if you've got more shopping or a pushchair, you can slot in there. So how does this compare to the Clubman? The 5-door has a boot capacity of 278 litres, whereas the Clubman has 360, although both of them have this extend floor flappy thing. The Clubman does, however, weigh 1.37 tonnes, and the 5-door just 1.22 tonnes, which is where that extra 1 second to 0 to 62 comes from. The 5-door is 3,982 millimetres long, whereas the Clubman is 4,253 millimetres long. The 5-door is 1.72 metres wide, whereas the Clubman 1.8, and that doesn't include the mirrors either. The 5-door is 1.42 metres high, whereas the Clubman is 1.44 metres high. So the Clubman is definitely bigger than the 5-door, but is it better looking? Well, I personally feel the 5-door looks great, retaining the hatch shape. The doors on the Clubman are cool, but that uneven lettering would really mess with my OCD. So that just brings us on to the prices. Well, the basic 5-door Mini 1 1.2 comes in at £15,250, whereas the Cooper comes in at £16,325. A comparative Clubman with a 1.5 litre turbo engine starts at £20,730, so there's quite a bit of difference. But as you've seen, they are different cars. That one behind me has plenty of options. It's got the chili pack, it's got the John Cooper Works pack, it's got the entertainment pack, and it's got the lighting pack. And that comes in at £24,500 on the road. So as you can see, it's got £9,000 worth of extras on it. I talk passionately about it because that one there is my car. Why did I go for the John Cooper Works pack 1.5 turbo instead of the John Cooper Works, I hear you ask? Well, my wife is learning to drive, and with the John Cooper Works actual 231 brake horsepower car, the insurance would have been far too much. So we went for that one. It's a perfectly adequate car. No, it's not adequate. It is a superb car. It has a great little engine. It's fantastic handling, and it looks awesome. So I'm very happy with the choice we made. So what about you? Do you own one of these? Did you buy the Clubman? What made you get the Clubman instead of the 5-door, or the other way around, the 5-door instead of the Clubman? Was the Clubman even an option? Was the 5-door even an option? I would love to hear your views. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Please tune in next week when we'll be back with more cars and motorbikes, and we're starting a new segment midweek. First video is coming up this Wednesday, and that is my new retro cafe racer build series. You may have seen, if you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, if you don't, please pop along and do that, that I have bought a retro motorbike, and that is going to be our cafe racer build project, and we're going to be doing videos along the way showing you what we're doing, what we're buying, and how it's done. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Please view the other videos, share them, tell the world. We want as many people as possible to enjoy our videos, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Oh, and don't forget, there's going to be a giveaway coming up again soon, because we're now about to knock on the door of 4,000 subscribers. So keep it up. Thank you very much. Bye bye.